I bought a vintage Harper's Bazaar magazine looking for a little sewing inspo. Instead, I ended up collecting observations of the American woman's experience in the early months of World War II.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let me rewind a bit. I decided to try something new. New way to find some classic sewing inspo via a vintage magazine bought on eBay. And a new kind of video with an unboxing/live reaction style. It turns out, this type of video is not my forte. I'm really excited. What is this going to be like? Not at all what you think. My style is to observe and process my thoughts for a bit. Let it marinate, if you will. And then, if I choose to, then I voice them.
What?
That doesn't bode well for a video of this nature, which, is to share thoughts aloud on the spot. Not only was everything I filmed basically just dead air.
Say something smart, Kowalski.
We've got a United States Savings Bond and Stamps advertisement for defense. On top of all that, I don't see any inspo thus far, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't find anything I actually wanted to make. I had found zero inspiration. So I don't know that I found anything to be inspired to make for the spring or summertime, but it wasn't a complete bust. There's a lot in here. I learned a lot kind of about the times just by looking through it, I guess from a sort of anthropological stance, which I was fine admitting to. However, it was when I went to edit and found it agonizing to sit through. You can also get it in tomato red, carrot, and whole wheat tan.
I'm going crazy. I'm standing here solidly on my own two hands and going crazy.
That I realized there was no substance. Just me not finding inspiration paired with long silence. So I went back and looked through the magazine a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. Not looking for inspiration, but simply gathering observations. And wouldn't you know, inspiration hit, but not in the way I had initially sought out. So here are my takeaways. Flipping through the pages, it's not hard to see that there is a uniform. And if it wasn't already obvious, it's spelled out in plain English that the suit is the uniform of the time. Whether joining the armed forces and wearing a utility suit for that branch, or as a civilian jumping in to help the war effort in other ways, the suit dominated. It is by far the look that is featured most in these pages. And as someone who has never worn a suit, this might explain why I didn't find the initial inspiration I had been looking for. Suits paired with the war were evolving the fashion and social norms. For example, it was now acceptable dress for day work and for evenings out. Previously not acceptable.
You must take dinner with us, dear. We'll meet you here at 6 o'clock.
Well, I couldn't. I didn't bring a change of clothes, all right? We won't dress.
Perhaps this is the first example of that transition of using the same outfit from day to night wear that we continue to entertain. By calling for simplicity, it also saved the production lines for the war effort. While the suit was the basic staple to this era's preliminary capsule wardrobe of sorts, the adoption of a personalized uniform to be dressed up or down could be something worth playing around with in my own style for the spring and summer. I don't think I'm alone in that I often find myself gravitating towards and rotating the same basic outfits. But what if I was intentional with it rather than using it as a lazy default?
Please continue.
So while nothing inspired me as far as a specific design, the overarching through line of simplicity and an element of uniformity in the magazine did. It made me realize that a good number of my past sewing projects have been standalone designs, and that I often haven't considered how or if something could be worn multiple ways to maximize its use. And while those are fun, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of focusing in on sewing items that can get multiple wears out of something and styled a variety of ways. It's kind of fun how this video ended up working out because as I was in the midst of this editing struggle, I actually got a comment on my Claire McCardle video suggesting I create a weekender wardrobe. And with all this in mind, I'd like to explore the concept of what boils down to that exactly, sewing pieces that can be worn together, as well as with elements of my wardrobe that already exist. The uniformity and simplicity being proclaimed in this issue was economically sensible and appealing to women of that era given the time and its circumstances. And I'm glad I didn't find just one specific thing to sew as my original mindset had intended.
Not at all what I expected.
Instead, it's inspired me to take into consideration my own time and its circumstances.
I'm totaling my assets. It's really bleak.
Now, it's time to get to brainstorming and figure out exactly what this all will entail. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Don't let your figure go to waste. And they spelled waste W-A-I-S-T instead of W-A-S-T-E. Play on words. And it's for a girdle.